So today I'm going to show you how to do the spike stitch. This is very basic rows of double crochet, but then on one row we add in these extra spikes and it gives us really quite cool effect. Works best if you do it with contrasting colours, but you can equally do it with similar colours or even the same colour, but you wouldn't really get the same effect. Hello, my name's Karen Stangram and welcome to Conquer Crochet, the channel for tips, tricks and techniques for conquering your crochet. Everything I talk about in today's video will be linked in the descriptions below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss a single stitch. So if you're keen to get going with this video, give me a thumbs up and let's do this. So today I'm going to be using double knit yarn. I'm using, this is for the So Crafty yarn from Aldi. In the grey and purple. I'm also going to be using a 4mm hook to work with my double knit yarn. I have a needle for sewing in my ends and my scissors for cutting off my ends. So I'm going to start off with the grey. I'm going to make a slip knot. You can do this in whichever way you prefer. And we need to now crochet our foundation chain. You need to do your foundation chain in multiples of 6 plus 1 for the turning chain. So I'm going to do mine sample piece of 24, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So pause the video until you've done your foundation chain, again multiples of 6, then plus 1 for the end. So pause the video now. Okay, so I've done my 24, now I'm going to do my 1 for turning because my next row is going to be double crochet and that 1 gives us the height for the next row. So I'm going to do my first double crochet, that's UK terminology double crochet, that's single crochet in the US. In the second chain from the hook, so we don't count the one on the hook, so 1, 2, and we're going to insert, yarn over, pull through, you should have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops on your hook. So again, insert, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. And we're going to work all the way down this row, just doing our double crochets all the way down. So by the end of this you should have 24 double crochets if you're doing the sample along with me, or you should have the right number of multiples of 6s that you made, because obviously our extra one at the end was our turning chain, so that wouldn't count. Okay, so pause the video now whilst you crochet down to the end of your row. So I'm just coming up to the end of my first row, so there's the last double crochet in there. Now the next row we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. You can turn your work and chain 1 if you prefer. I just prefer to chain before I turn. Okay, so we're now going to do our next row of double crochets and we're going to go into this gap here. Okay, so we insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So whenever we do a line of double crochets, when we get to the end we chain 1, we turn and we work our row of double crochets. So we've done row 1, we're now on row 2, row 3, row 4 and row 5 are exactly the same. So you should end up with 5 rows of double crochet. So pause the video now whilst you do your 5 rows of double crochet and I will meet you back and I'll show you how we do the next step. Okay, so I'm just coming up to my last double crochet on row 5. So I have my foundation chain and I have 5 rows of double crochet. Yarn over, pull through, and I'm just going to snip off my end, and that's the first block done. I'm going to turn my work over, move the grey aside and pick up my purple. Okay, so with this stitch, all of your tails will end up on the same side. So if you make a mistake and you find you've got a tail on this side, you can think, hang on, maybe I haven't done all the rows I need to do in the block, so you need to count your rows carefully. You might want to use a stitch counter just to count your rows. So I'm going to join my purple by making a slip knot, taking my hook out, inserting my hook into the grey last double crochet that we made, put my slip knot back onto my hook, tighten up a little bit, pull through, yarn over, and then tighten up your tail. So for this row then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in that same stitch. Then we're going to do a spike. Now spikes, you need to make sure that you're being very careful. It's done as a double crochet spike. So we're not going to go into the next stitch here, we're going to go in the one below. So insert as you would a double crochet, yarn over, pull through, and make sure you pull enough through that you're getting to the height where you need to be. Yarn over, pull through the 2 loops on your hook. So for the third one then, we're not going to go into our first row or our second row, we're going into the third row. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, pull the yarn up so it's in line with the top of your row, from your grey row, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, 2, 3. So now we're going into the fourth row, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. Now you're going to make sure your tension is fairly loose so you can pull that yarn up to the right height. Yarn over, pull through 2. And then one last one. So we did row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. This one's going into row 5. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So you have your first set there of spikes. Then we're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So we don't crochet into the ones that we've crocheted over. So the next 2, so we're just going to do a double crochet, 1 and 2. So that second double crochet is a bit like the first one we've got here. So now we're going to go into our second row. So not the first row, going into the second row, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, make sure your yarn comes to the top of your grey row, yarn over, pull through the 2 stitches. So that's row 2, row 3, 1, 2, 3. So insert into that third row, yarn over, pull through, stretch your yarn to the top, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to go into the fourth row, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to insert, yarn over, pull through, make sure it's at the height, yarn over, pull through the 2, and then the fifth one, which is down here, insert, yarn over, pull through, stretch your yarn so it's at the top, yarn over, pull through the 2 on your hook, and there you have your second set of spikes. 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Then we go into the second one down, 1, 2, insert your hook, yarn over, pull the yarn up to the top of the grey, yarn over, pull through 2, go to the third one down, 1, 2, 3, so you insert your hook, yarn over, pull the yarn so it stretches to the top of the grey, yarn over, pull through 2, then we go to the 4th one, stretch that yarn to the top, yarn over, pull through 2, and then onto the 5th one, insert, yarn over, stretch that yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to chain double crochet in the next 2, 1 and 2, going into the second one, we go into the third one, so 1, 2, 3, then we go into the 4th row, 1, 2, 3, 4, make sure we really stretch that up, and then we go into the 5th one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, make sure that's nice and level, and then we do 2 double crochets in the last 2. You don't finish off at the end of this row, but I just want to show you how we've done so far. So we have our foundation chain and we have our 5 rows of double crochet. We then joined our purple, we chained 1 and we did 1 double crochet. Then we did a long double crochet into the next row down, another long one into the next row down, another long one into the next row down, another long one into the next row down. Then we do 2 double crochets and we repeat the process. 2 double crochets, repeat the process all the way to the end. We don't finish off at the end. So we now have to do our 5 rows of double crochet. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's sort of 6 rows in every pattern. There's a spiked row and then 5 rows of double crochet. So do your 5 rows of double crochet and I will meet you back here. So I'm just coming up to the end of my 5th row of double crochets. And we are on the end where all the tails will be, so we're going to fasten off. And then we're going to turn our work. So this is the right side, and you see how your spikes sort of stay nicely together. If you look at the wrong side, you can see they're slightly more V-shaped on the wrong side. Now if you wanted to, you could have less spikes, in which case you would need less rows. So if you only wanted to have 1, 2, 3 spikes, you would only need to crochet 3 rows of the double crochet. I actually think it looks better with the 5 because you really see the whole like jaws of the spikes coming down. So we're now ready to move on to the next row. So the next row works exactly the same. We're basically following this lilac pattern now, but I'll just give you a quick refresher. So you make your slip knot in your new colour, and you don't have to do it in stripes, you could do it in different colours all the way through if that's what you wanted to do. So you find your last double crochet that you made and you've got that little V there. You insert your hook through both of those, put your yarn on, your slip knot back on your hook and pull it through that stitch, tighten up and then chain 1. And we're ready to start the pattern. So we double crochet into the first stitch, the one that we've just done our join into. Then we start the pattern of the next stitch. We go down a row, we do our double crochet. In the next stitch we go down 2 rows. I suppose it's actually 3 rows. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, making sure that we pull our yarn up in level with the previous row, and then we do our 5th row. So we insert into the 5th one down. And then to give us a bit of a gap, we do a double crochet, and then the pattern starts again. So we're really doing 2 double crochets there, so double crochet, and then we start our next row down, next row down, next row down, next row down with our sort of staircase steps. So you continue all the way down this row doing your little steps in each one, and we do the 5th one, then you do 2 double crochets. When you get to the end of this row, you're going to chain 1, you're going to turn your work, and you're going to do 5 rows of double crochet. Then you'll fasten off. Make sure that all your ends are on the same side. If they're not, you've miscounted a row somewhere, so keep counting your rows, and you just keep going until you're happy with what you have made. This looks really cute as cushion covers, or if you wanted to make a bigger blanket, make it much wider. It's a really nice stitch for just giving your accent colours to your room. I really hope you found today's tutorial useful. If there are any information that you need to find out about this video, have a look in the descriptions below, where I post all the links to any freebies and other videos I think you might find useful. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, to give me a thumbs up below. Don't forget also to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you've enjoyed it and you'd like to see more of my tutorial videos. There are 2 other videos on screen to help you on your crochet journey, and I will see you over there. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, and happy hooking!